Hello, everybody. How are
And
you
hell,
today?
and hello, Mrs. Dadman Walking. We're kind of new to this dual streaming, folks, on both channels.
Yes,
How,
yes.
how is everybody tonight? We are coming to you on my YouTube channel, uh, and also the Mrs. YouTube and Twitch channel. So pick your pleasure wherever you want to watch us. But hey, watch us everywhere. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to both our YouTube channels. Let's get Mrs. to 200. She's very close now, and also follow her on Twitch. So,
And
Miss, yeah, go
wait,
ahead.
as I
Yeah.
say, before I start any show,
Uh
I go
huh.
over to my YouTube channel. I like myself, and I'm going
Hmm.
to share on the oh crap, on the on the Twitch Twixverse, and as I say, the Threadosphere. But I got to get threads up to do that.
Hmm.
So we, well, come on, let's capitalize. We are live.
Oh,
And let's do this.
I want to share this picture here from it. This is a kind of a neutral picture that we've got right here. So we can show of what we're doing here while the missus is getting that up. Because, like you said, like, ta-da. But yeah, shall I go ahead and greet our members of the chat while you're typing, my love?
You may go right ahead and do that.
All righty. Well, we got 9 people here watching us on the combination of channels. But first, we got Mr. Angel out in the chat bringing his alien life form here himself. And he's
Hello.
also put a link to the Discord over at Mark's Clubhouse where we can get direct pings. Another way to get notifications for when we go live. So beyond YouTube or Twitter or Twitch, and when they sometimes fail, who you gonna call? Our great Daisy
Miss,
Blossom. Daisy.
oh, who are you going to call? I was going to say Mr. Angel when things fail.
Well, yeah, he's our Ghostbuster around here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is
Mr.
our
Angel's
ghost.
our Ghostbuster. But hey, Mrs. Daisy Blossom is a great friend too. So when we
Hello,
gonna
hello.
call, we're gonna call Daisy. So
Yes.
exactly. Your Siri Butt's here. Jerry Minosa is here. Hello, Jerry.
Hello. Hey, look who got first billing. Woohoo. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, we know that you're the priority. Let's get Mrs. to 500 as quickly as we can. Not just 200, 500, so she can try to monetize.
I want to say,
And
in honor of the show, I'm drinking out of my Ghostbuster cup.
oh, you are. Well, that's cool. I've got mine still in the other room, but hey, and the missus, yes, please, you feel free to give some time, especially with the missus for watch hours. And if you have not subscribed to her channel, please go over there. Do that. Nighthawk, how are you?
Hello, Nighthawk.
Good to see you. So, and now she's there.
Well,
And Mr.
hello.
Angel's always at our service.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
So, yeah, this was, we just got back laying the groundwork for this. We just got back a little while ago watching this for the second time. Actually, we watched it this time in THX, was supposed to be HD or a little bit better. And we can talk about that as we, the extra cost as we go through. But we saw the movie originally on Thursday night. We are, in terms of spoilers and all, we're trying to, whatever will come up, it's like the missus has done here. It is possible we could have some spoilers, and we're going to try to balance things the best we can. But I, we watched the movie on Thursday night, and we just said we're just going to watch it, dump our brains, and enjoy the movie instead of just watching it, running to a review. And after the movie was over, the missus came up with the idea, well, let's watch Afterlife again so that we can catch the context leading up to this one. And then we saw it Thursday night. So then we went back today, watched Afterlife this morning after the missus stream, watched the movie again today to try to see if we could pick up new things or
Mhm.
what else we could think with Mrs. Is that pretty much it, or how did you want to approach? How did you approach this?
Well, I forgot a lot about Afterlife, to be totally honest with you.
Can you speak up a little bit? It's like your volume's down tonight.
How's that? Is that better? Get closer to me. Let me, 1 second. I'm going to mute because I'm going to
Yeah.
be playing with my mic.
playing with the mic. But hey, so folks, tweet out the stream, share it out with everybody that you can. We are, going to have some fun. Appreciate y'all being here tonight, and have some fun with us with this discussion. If you have seen the movie,
Is
well,
this better?
you're really soft tonight.
Is that better?
Okay, that's better. Maybe okay.
Okay. I had to make sure the mic was actually pointing in the correct direction. And I wasn't
Yeah,
talking really, really loud. Because
yeah.
I'm not riled up. Rile me up, I'll
Yeah.
talk louder.
All right.
I'm
So
mellow.
you're very mellow. Did you turn your emote only off on your
Yes, I
Twitch side?
did.
Okay. All
Yes, I
right.
did.
I'm not sure why Mr. Angels. Why can't you see Gary? Gary. I don't know. Where's Gary? But hey. Uh, oh, hello Six. Hello Six. I love this movie. Cleaning the office while listening. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you tonight. Yes. So what we did, we watched Afterlife again today, and then went back today to watch Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire for a second time. Uh, I think what we do, let's let's talk about the current movie, the new one, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. Uh, Mrs., what was your overall opinion of it or thoughts with this
Well,
movie?
well, see, it's very difficult for me um, because I have two different ratings. The old man cometh. Hello,
Oh,
hello.
hello,
I
welcome.
have two different ratings for this movie
Mm-hmm.
because I have it looking at it as a Ghostbuster movie because I have when you watch a Ghostbuster movie, what do you want? You want ghosts and busting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I looked at it through that lens, I would give it probably a between a 5 and 5.56.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I rated it as just a movie that I enjoy, just going to it, not a Ghostbuster, not with that main thing, I would probably rate it a little higher, a 6.5 to 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I was somewhat disappointed with it as a Ghostbuster movie um, because I felt there wasn't enough ghost busting.
Mm-hmm.
But as a movie, I enjoyed it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and
that's kind of where I stand.
yeah, because it's funny how we dissected this movie the first time when we watched it, and then again today, the different things that we picked up. Because what we see is this movie takes place two, three. It's 3 years
It's three
later,
years
three
after.
years after, because one was 12 and is now 15. One is 15 now 18.
Okay,
And
Dadman, can I say something real quick? If we're
okay,
talking about it, and I made a good point on the way
yeah,
home
uh huh,
that I have since forgotten,
okay,
remind me. Oh, and by the way, before
hmm
we start, I've got to change. I've got to change my clothes. Give me 1 second.
okay. Oops,
Let me
should I
change my
shut my
clothes.
eyes? Do I
No,
need
you
to turn
don't
my
have
head?
to.
Okay,
Oops. Okay, wait. Where did it go? Come on.
there you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, I feel much better.
All
I
right.
got to get out of that human skin.
Yes,
So uncomfortable.
exactly. Now,
Uh,
do you want to tell everybody who may not see? Let me actually make you larger. Let me put you on solo layout so people can see
I
you.
was actually in the Ghostbusters movies. If you did not know, I was a librarian ghost. So,
Who
yes.
who
No,
makes
not
an
really.
encore? Who makes an encore performance here? So, but like I said, is it takes up three years from the end of Afterlife, and we're going to kind of try to kind of compare and contrast a little bit. And Stunning is here.
Hey,
He's
Stunning.
evil. Hey, Stunning.
Evil, evil.
But so we end up picking up 3 years later. If you remember from Afterlife, the last scene was the you had a scene on the bridge and you saw the Ecto One going with the lights on, and well, that's where this one kind of picks off. Is they're right in the middle of a Ghostbuster chase, and they're chasing the Hell's Kitchen monster, which looked like a sea dragon. They so it looks like it's really a continuation from the last into the new, but just did a 3 year jump in between. But it really goes through. Uh, you you see the increase of ghost activity, then you start to get connection with this bigger threat, this ominous, that's out there, they're veiling and references to this bigger threat. You know, in typical Ghostbuster fashion, it has this opening scene to set the rest of the movie up. You learn about, you don't know at the time what it's going to be, but it's slowly revealed as the movie goes on about what we will see and why everything becomes frozen. So it's then it goes like your typical Ghostbusters type movie. You got your random scenes uh, as they advance through the plot. Then you're introduced to ghost characters. We see in this one ghosts interact with humans a lot, and of course, you go to the end, you get a lot of the history behind the bad guy,
Oh,
and
sorry. Can I
then
comment on this real quick?
yes,
Mr.
yes,
Angel, we are on two YouTube channels, on Dadman's and on mine. So depending on where you are watching them, Jerry Menoza will only be on one of them. Jerry Menoza looks like he's on my channel. So if you're watching
yeah.
Dadman, you won't see him
You know
on
what
that
though?
one.
I think YouTube's got a problem because I've noticed that people told me before that when I asked them, I didn't see a comment, and they said that they said something to me, but I didn't see it.
Mm,
I have seen that. I've noticed
right.
sometimes on some people on karaoke, their
Yeah.
comments. I'm sitting here, I see it in Streamyard,
Okay.
but not
Okay.
into here. So I
That
know.
might. Yeah. Who knows?
By the Daisy Blossom loves the librarian ghost. Yeah. Yes. And so like Stunning's evil. So we see the big bad guy at the end. We'll try to get to this. We'll kind of go scene to scene. Mrs. I kind of want you to. We can talk about how the scenes as we move through and help me with how we can compare and contrast to the afterlife.
Well,
But
first, let's first say this. Okay, yeah, I would like to address that.
mhm.
May I address this, please? I
Yes,
did a
go
little
ahead.
bit in the chat. If what you're referring to is a lot of the stuff that's going on Twitter about sexuality and things like that, no, it is not in there. This is a 15-year-old genius girl who has trouble relating to people. That's 15, and she's lonely, and she meets a ghost friend that happens to be a
Can
girl.
can I interject real quickly though? Not just lonely. At the and this could be potential spoiler, but the whole problem with a lot of the stuff that's going around, people are throwing stuff out there. This kid who had saved the world in the last movie, and all this is now isolated, stuck on the shelf because of the mayor. Because of a lot of reasons. She'd been
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
that was so important to her was taken away from in the start of the movie. As you go and watch the movie, you can see why
yeah,
the kid would be dealing with issues
yeah,
and
yes.
loneliness.
And she was just lonely, and she happened to meet a girl ghost that was 16 years old, and they
Mm-hmm.
became friends.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out later that there was some betrayal in the movie, but no, there's. I watched it twice, and I watched it this time purposely, really, really, really trying to find
Mm-hmm.
and see
Right.
what they were talking about. I asked my child to tell me if they saw any of it,
Mm-hmm.
and no, I saw none of it. I saw
Now,
teen angst.
now,
People were saying this was a I just don't want to say the word
just
a
yeah,
rom
just
com,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
just saw it as a teen. It was too much of a teen angst movie instead of a Ghostbuster movie to
Which
me.
was actually one of the criticisms I know that you had with the movie. It seemed like sometimes that teen angst focused more on the characters, kind of like what we said with some of the kaiju movies, is they spend so much time focusing on the character, the humans, instead of the ghost or the monsters.
That's why I
And
gave it a low
yeah.
rating as a Ghostbuster movie, because more of the
Hmm.
focus was on the teen angst
Yeah.
and the family dynamic and all that
Yeah.
stuff,
It did take up a lot of the movie.
which isn't bad, but this is a Ghostbuster movie.
Because
So,
see, it does. I agree
but
with you.
no,
I
but no,
do agree.
Jerry, that was
Yeah.
no. I did not see it. Like I say, I watched it
Yeah.
twice. I didn't see it the first time,
I,
and I didn't see it the
I do
second.
agree with you though, because I like this movie a lot, and it's like Nighthawk has said here. He saw the movie and it was fun, but see, like every
Yes,
movie, there's going to be
Chad, I agree
weaknesses.
with
There's
you.
no such thing as a perfect movie. Yeah, it kind of had too many subplots, and like the misses, and like to that point is, all these subplots took away from the ghost, or like I see, I wanted more about the bad guy.
Yeah, the ghost
Baraka
and all
at the
that
end.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
mean, they told about his background, but I wanted to see him in action. I wanted to see more of him and less of the teenage girl ghost. The real bad guy. I guess it's similar to what we had in the original Ghostbusters. We really didn't have much Gozer, but
But you had a lot. You had a lot. There were things. It all kind of related going
Yep,
into the to that. It was like
yep,
Afterlife. Okay, it
okay.
was compared review. Okay, Afterlife. They didn't. Fo- uh, the beginning. It was about the ghost, right?
And hello, Simply
Okay,
Steve. Good to see you.
hello, and we had Putin's cat. Was that who? I saw Putin's cat, and and
Yeah,
I think
Putin's cat's here. Simply
yes.
Steve's here. Yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
so like in Afterlife. Okay, they didn't.
Words
Not
and
everything.
pictures, by the way. Words and pictures. Hello, and
We'll
folks.
we'll let you know. We'll let you know.
Yes.
Let's get a little more of the review so you can kind of understand um,
Hmm.
when we tell you what we think. Because just I would say give it a try, but you can hear our reasonings why. With Afterlife, a lot of the movie, even though it wasn't, this is Ghostbuster stuff. When they were up on the mountain by the mine shaft, you had the Gozer. When Phoebe and a podcast went into the mine and you saw the ruins. When the earthquakes, the tremors all the time. There was always things going to the ghost. When they found the trap, when they let go of the ghost, when all these things, it always had some kind of something about the ghosts and going back to uh, that concept. And when they found out who created the town, and just everything harked back to the ghost storyline, for the most
Hmm.
part. I mean, they obviously they had seen other scenes, but you always were brought back to the ghost story part
Hmm.
of it.
Right.
And in this movie, you had it at like the beginning, and you had little bits here and there, but it wasn't it was like lot a lot of scenes did not harken back to the ghost
Well,
story.
it's like you have it at the
You know,
beginning and the end, and in the middle, you had all the family
well, yeah, it's
mayor.
like
I had all the drama.
even though they had the orb,
Hmm.
it's still that orb was not. It wasn't. Let's figure out about the orb and all this. It was okay. Here's the orb. Here, it's there. Oh, okay. Now let's get back to the
Yeah.
family dynamics. Let's get back to this.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It there wasn't these scenes that drew you back into the story. It was almost like they were like, okay, here. Remember, this is a ghost story. Okay, now let's go back to family drama.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I thought. But I thought it was a good movie if it wasn't a Ghostbuster
Hmm.
movie. But the fact that it was a Ghostbuster movie brought
Yep.
down my because of
Well,
that a lot of my.
well,
Uh,
let's catch up a little bit with the chat then. Yeah, Simply Steve, he's watching on FX. Daisy's singing out there,
yeah,
so
yeah, you know what she's saying.
oh
Let it go
gosh.
with
Look at this. Is Chucky here and only in Dadman's chat because he's scared? Oh gosh. Now I will say, I think you're the old man cometh, and folks, like I say, all opinions welcome, and hey, please be honest with what you think. And I can see based like on the points. See, I love this movie really out of the theater. My initial things, and I still love it. I think it's great. I'm enjoying it, but I can see the valley. I can see where there's some valid criticisms with stuff
Mhm.
like you have, and there's enough of them that I can see why somebody or like the old man cometh here is this movie could be disappointing when you compare what we got with Afterlife.
I agree with that. I think you don't necessarily agree with that.
Yes, and he still love you, Chucky, and that's a good point. I agree. Words and pictures, really. See, I think it is. Even if you, I think it
I
really is. I think it's one of the better of the modern films for what comes out.
as Go ahead.
There's enough entertaining because, like the missus said, even if there's not enough ghost in it for you, there is enough of the good stuff, and it moves in the
It,
plots. Because even if they
it,
had even though they had the family angst stuff, a lot of it, it was not bad, and I didn't think it was heavy-handed.
I
But
know.
I
I
think
see.
but see, I want to make that clear because
Yeah.
the other things that are on Twitter and some of the other things that are out there, that's not what came in. And you know what? This was not male bashing and whatever. It was just kind of a teenager dealing with issues with a mixed family. Not
A blended
a
family is what
blended thing. Thank
yeah.
you, thank you. Not a traditional married husband and wife together. He was awkward in his role. I didn't think that like a lot of modern movies really go heavy handed as the man's incompetent or blah blah blah. It didn't do that. I think it's worth watching. Now, whether you
Okay.
want to pay for it in the theater or not, I don't know. And Mrs., I do want to talk about that.
I do want to
Well,
like
thank you.
I want to say, oh, is it worth watching? Um, this is my opinion. If you want to go see a ghost busting film, I don't think it's worth watching in the theater. I think it's worth watching at home. Now, if you want to
Mhm.
watch a good movie that has some ghost busting in it and has some really, kind of neat scenes, then yeah, go see it. I mean, I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Well, let me do.
But as a
Yep.
Ghostbuster movie, and I'm
Mhm.
putting that in quotes, I think it lacks in it being a Ghostbuster movie,
Right.
ghost busting movie.
Right. And Putin's cat, we do agree that people worry
Yes.
about way too much with other stuff.
Yeah.
Steve agrees. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
We have
See, and
Lady
this
V
this
Elements
is
is here.
yes. I'm gonna come back
Okay,
to
okay,
Stunning's
okay.
comment later. But yeah,
Yeah.
let me catch up here. CLS Studios here. Hello, and
Hello,
he says
hello,
hello to you.
hello,
Um,
hello.
and see, like Daisy, we're going to talk about that. I'll highlight that, and it's Lady V Elements. Hello,
Hello, hello.
hello. See, what is it? Okay, I got it. Yeah, you are the star, Mrs.
Yes, I
You
am.
come
Hello.
first. Yes, you are. And folks, we are
She's
broadcasting
over in my
also.
chat. That's why she's doing
Yes,
that because she doesn't know that we're doing.
we are also streaming over on the Mrs. channel. I put the link in on my side. Uh,
I
so
didn't
if
link your channel.
yeah,
I'm
if
a
you, well,
bad
it's okay.
person.
It's okay if you could put the link
Come
again
to
in the
me. Come to me.
StreamYard for your channel because see what we're trying to do is make sure people get to your channel that may not know about it.
Well, I
And
was at
we got 18 here
195
tonight.
subscribers, and now I'm back down to 194. I'm
I
not
know
even
it's
going to look
stupid.
anymore.
Yeah. Well, we're close to 200. And hello, there she says hello and hi to the chat. At least I'm ahead of the chat. That'll work. So, and see, here's another opinion down here. The Nighthawk said the film is fun and worth watching, and it had some really good. It
Yes.
truly did. It really was a good movie overall. It truly was good. Yeah. Yes, and this is the thing. Yes, exactly. And I can understand that point with a lot of stuff that's there. But no, no, it should not be called Ghostbust. In no way was this a bust of a movie. You can be a little bit
Oh, yeah, no.
disappointed if you didn't get certain things that you wanted to get. But this is not like friggin' Last Jedi shite.
Yeah.
This is not anything like that where they destroyed the whole franchise. It just they explain a lot more in this movie, so it's worth watching. And I understand that there's supposed to be another movie to come out, but this does a lot of setup for anything going forward.
I
One of the
agree.
pictures,
I do agree with
points that
that.
people have wanted for a long time is more Ghostbusters. Well, this one kind of sets up the ability to go forward because it
Hmm.
explains a lot technologically wise and how it does a lot. It's kind of like a vehicle. Wesley's was
Hmm.
here for that. Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate that. So, yes, yes, we know you love both of us. So, I did. I always say when you say give Mrs. a hug, I definitely do that. So, yes, if you have not checked out Mrs. channel, go over there now, subscribe, and hit like there too. So, let's see. Let's see.
I don't think it's. I hope people understand when I say I'm disappointed
Snortopoopas
it
is here
being.
too.
Hello,
By the way, howdy,
Snortopoopas.
Snortopoopas. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh
Then
God, Putin's cat. Putin's, please do not let that movie ever keep you out of the theaters. I can understand why, but this is not it. Go ahead, Mrs. I'm sorry.
but I'm not saying that it. I don't want people. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed it the second time as much as I did the first time. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that um, I wish it incorporated more ghost busting
Mhm.
in it in the middle. The first part was amazing.
Yeah.
The last part was amazing, and in the middle it kind of went, because
It became a
they were
became kind of like
it became more of a drama, a family drama, than a ghost busting movie. They had little
mhm.
ghost busting elements in it, and podcast was amazing in it. I love podcasts, and
Yes.
And I love Phoebe, but I just wish they didn't make her so. But my youngest did say, no, mom, she is 15 years old. I said, yeah, but she's a genius. She should be able to, mom, she's 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that kind of brought it back to me that she is as smart as she is
Mm-hmm.
still a 15-year old genius. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, a double whammy there.
Yeah.
um, that
What it's like
does not
sometimes.
catch, it's just a lot of stuff. And I had to remember that for her character. And when my youngest said that, I went, you're right. She is 15 years old, and some of the bonehead stuff she did, which I'm like, why did she do that? I wish they, might have done this, to kind of get the movie a little bit better. But
Mm-hmm.
but my youngest said she
Yep.
is 15, and 15-year-olds do stupid things.
Well, even adults do stupid things, but yeah,
But
that's
but
a
but
really good point.
15.
Yeah, yes, we did, Jerry. Yes, we did. I
Yes,
will
we
not tell
did. Miss.
anybody the specific character because of it's just great. Oh, that was one of the moments Aang went nuts about because Aang talked about this Dickless here the whole time, and then we got him back in a same name, different role. And like Six is pointing out,
Yes, that's
she's
true.
been so much through a lot of upheaval in the last few years. And also, if you watch the movie, you will see how this kid was torn down in the first half an hour, first 15, 20 minutes of this movie. You would have angst if what happened to this kid happened to you, you know? And yes, the librarian. We got a return of the librarian. Yes,
I
both the human actor, the library curator, and the ghost from your figure right there, your beautiful figure was the
Yes,
librarian. So
I did. I will say I did. What do they call them? The little
the Stay
mem-
Puft Marshmallow
no,
Mans,
the member bear, the
the member
little
berries, yeah,
member bear. The little
the little
gift,
callbacks.
the little gifts that they gave uh to the old um to the original Ghostbusters,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
some of the reactions of the original characters to these little things um, were just priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Easter eggs, yeah, and if those, I will say those were good. I did appreciate them. I appreciated the characters. I appreciated that they kind of the original characters. I loved how they brought him back, and I loved how they developed. They didn't. The only one that kind of stayed the same was Bill Murray because he's as immature as he always was immature. Yeah, there was a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
maturity. I'll say that,
Right,
but
right.
but they had him grow as
Mm-hmm.
like because they're older now. And didn't have them act the same way. So I thought that was really good.
Well,
And I
compare the
appreciated
characters.
it.
Well, since we do that, I do want to go back to the difference between how we physically watched it Tuesday and then today. But talk about the characters specifically because we're like she's 12 in the Afterlife, 15 in this one. He's 15 in Afterlife, trying to be the Romeo, and then also he's an adult now, and
He's
that plays a
18.
little bit
He's an
into some of the
adult. Yeah.
stuff right now, the family dynamic. So,
The mom and Carrie is her name, and Gary. Oh, that's so cute. Gary, what was it?
oh,
Gruss, what's his last name? Grubberman, Gary Grubberman, or something like
Goober
that.
Bird or Goober. I'll look it
I
up
know,
in a second. So,
but
oh,
all the dynamics that now they're together, um, uh, and now in New York. So they left, went to Oklahoma. Now they're back in New York, and um, ghost busting now. And the family dynamic I thought was really interesting because at the beginning you're like, huh, what? I was trying to figure out the which he um
he's talking about Walter Peck. No,
no,
Walter
Walter
Peck.
Peck did
No,
not well, he does not have the same job. We'll
no.
just leave it at that.
I'm trying to
Um,
not say that one too much for people
no,
out there.
but
Jerry,
I
Jerry,
know
have you
that's what I'm
seen it?
just saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying he did not have the same job.
Works and Pictures is saying goodnight though.
Good night. Good
Hey,
night.
good night.
You have a
Good
wonderful
night.
one.
Words and pictures. Thanks for coming in for a bit. So, but yeah, the whole dynamic. We compare, like we said, we compare and contrast, compare and
But
the
let
characters
me
to the
finish.
last movie.
But what I was gonna say, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the relationship between Gary and Carrie
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know. I'm like, well, are they just living together? Are they married? Is he stepdad? Is he just, boyfriend? How is because the relationship that they have is also kind of how the relationship with the kids are because it does
Yep.
their different aspects of that. So trying to figure that out to understand um, how Phoebe was feeling and Trevor was feeling um, was interesting. Going into it, the second movie I saw, knowing those dynamics, I didn't have. Yeah, I could kind of go, oh, um, okay, I could understand a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
there's things like
it
that.
did help to watch Afterlife again before because it
Yes.
helped with some of that. And by the way, also Mrs. is monetized on the Twitch channel, so you can subscribe to her channel over there, like joining on the YouTube side. But also, you can help support her and her channel costs and everything else at her Ko-fi page. Mrs. Dadman Walking 55. Here's the link to it, and you also have a Throne account. So you will see that we will pop that up from time to time to make sure that comes in on the overall stream. It's on the Twitch side, but we'll pop it up in here in the chat so everybody, even on the YouTubes, can see that too. But please support her in any way you can. Um, yeah,
And yes, they did have possession sex in the last
but
one,
they
and it
did.
was so funny that they
Yeah,
did reference it in this movie, and they
yeah,
were like so childish when they did it. It was so funny. They
yeah.
were
And they're
so
like,
immature. It was like, yeah, and we had sex. Oh, and they did a fist bump. I am going to spoil that. That's but they were just so immature. It was really kind of funny. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're supposed to be
oh,
grown ups.
Jerry, no, I will say Jerry, he does not work for the EPA anymore.
No, he's got a different job,
He's got a different job.
but we don't want to say too
We
much.
don't want to say too much,
No, we can't say too much.
but he's there. That
But
was
he
one
is
of
in
the
the
moments that
movie.
Aang went crazy when Aang saw Jerry, saw Peck there, Walter Peck. It was like went nuts. That, and the callbacks, like you said, the callbacks. Let's talk about that in a second. But I wanted to say because we talked about a little bit. Hey, Atwood, good to see you
Hey,
tonight.
Atwood.
You talked about specifically about the that to you it was not worth if about the theater experience, that it was not that you could wait,
If
but
you
but
want
I
to see it,
but I
just
want
if you know
yeah
if you want a Ghostbuster movie with ghost busting and and that's the main thing of the movie, the ghost busting. Go to the theater.
yeah
If that's not what you want, I wouldn't recommend going to the theater and spending the money. Wait till it streams. I think you
right.
might enjoy it, but
And
there's
I
not.
want to ask and I want to ask a specific question about that. Thursday night we went to a standard screening, which is a regular no
Mhm.
frills thing, cheap ticket. Today we saw like the THX, which is supposed to be high definition, supposed to be whatever,
The sound.
which was more a few dollars more.
Hmm.
Could you tell the difference? Was
Yes.
this a movie that would
Yes,
be
I could, and
okay?
the way I could tell the difference is sitting in the seat when they had all the rumbling and all the whatever. My seat vibrated.
Mm,
I mean, just from the sound system.
okay,
They weren't. No, I could feel it in my seat because of the sound system. We weren't in one of those fancy ones where we can actually get some theaters. We can buy a lot extra tickets, and they have where they do uh, emotion and things in the seat. We
yeah,
didn't get that. This was just a regular, the not anything fancy like that. But I could tell the difference with the sound.
mm-hmm.
It'd be like if
Okay,
you're watching Jurassic Park and when the dinosaurs were boom, stomped and it vibrated, the seat felt like they were walking in the same room with you.
well, good news, Mrs. You got one of your subscribers back now, so you're at 195. So, folks, share out the stream, bring them in. We're only five away from getting Mrs. to 200 there. So, please, thank you for your support. All right, so we've got this. THX. Yeah, THX is still a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's got a big display. It was the largest theater in the complex. So yeah, exactly. And we did. It
Oh
was a
wait,
good time.
Daisy, thank you for being over on Twitch.
Yeah,
Yay!
yay. The Twitch said also. But like, yeah, it was a great time. It's
It
always
was
good
good.
getting to the theater too today. So yeah. Yeah, we don't need Chucky here tonight.
No, and our youngest came with us, and that made it even
Yeah,
more special because they don't always come with us, so that was nice.
it truly was to have Aang with us. That does not happen often, and especially Aang enjoyed this movie too as much because there was another scene uh, uh, that we had the one when you see Walter Peck is back, but one of the other ones was when in the firehouse at night and the mother Callie is disgruntled and he's like so many throwbacks to Ghostbusters. There were. I'll let you talk more about
You
like
spit it out. You haven't finished the
I know.
sentence. I don't know what scene you're talking about.
I know. Okay. You know how you said how they threw back to the originals and all the
Yeah.
marketing also, but in the
Oh yes,
firehouse
yes,
they had this. When he was talking to Callie, like, uh, it's not looking good in the neighborhood.
yes.
Things look strange. Here you go. He took the words out of the Ghostbusters theme song and they incorporated it into the script. Those are examples of the throwbacks that they did to the original movie and not
Well,
just Afterlife.
well, and remember in Afterlife when Phoebe was learning about the Ghostbusters, I loved how in that one they incorporated some of the movie scenes and the commercials and
Mm-hmm.
the music video and the serials, and all the brouhaha. And thank you guys for subscribing. I appreciate
Yep,
that
you saw
very
that.
very
Yep,
much. Old Man Cometh and Putin's cat.
yep.
Thank you very much for
Thank you
that.
so much. Thank
So
you so
I
much.
liked how they did that, so they could make those little, you know, jokes. He could do that, and it wasn't out of character that he was using that singing the Ghostbuster song to her.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something bad, he goes, "Remember, Carrie, if there's something bad in the neighborhood," and she's looking at him like, "Shut the f up."
Yep.
And he just keeps
Mm-hmm.
doing the words to the song, and I loved it that they could do that, and it was not, it was legitimately they could do that, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a very funny scene. I thought it was.
Okay, yeah, because they actually brought in the real 1980s commercials of the toys and stuff. It
Yeah,
just
part of the
was really
music video that had, yeah. So yeah, it was really kind of cool.
absolutely. So, I'm going to bring up an image here. I'm just going to show this because they also brought back the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man guys from the last one
Yes,
from Afterlife. They were
yes.
everywhere in here the same way. They were cute. You couldn't figure out what the heck the problem was. They were cute and cuddly one minute, and then you know,
Well, some of it the reason was because, well, wait, that which we cannot mention.
mm, yeah. But we did see in Afterlife though that they were kind of Gozer had influenced them.
Hmm.
So they're always goes defer to something more powerful, so that yeah, and I agree they could make it make something they could you'd have to be careful make something like this a series though. That's the only thing is I mean to me honestly it's tricky. You just got to how do you do it because not without trying to go down a detour in Star Wars. It's been very, very hard to execute in a lot of other franchises. And
Hmm.
Sort of Poopas is right. They're like little like bears, cute and cuddly until
They spot themselves up against the window,
yes,
and then they're
yes,
flat and cuddly.
yes, exactly. So let I've started a few of the comments around.
Okay.
Let me do this real quick. Let's see, because Daisy, I know Daisy and Jerry. Okay, let me go to the starred comments and we'll pick back up there. Let's see. And again, thank you for the. I'm going to come back to some of the. See, Daisy said earlier a little bit of bummer. Want the ghost stories, and
Hmm.
there are. But then I agree that to me this was one of the things where it fell flat. I wanted more of the big bad guy, not the tool that was used for the
I wanted
the drama. I wanted to
I
see the
wanted
big
him
nasty guy. That's why the ad commercials freaked me out and got my interest with it.
I wanted them to at least kind of keep the story going throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think they did that well. I
Hmm.
think it was a little more disjointed
Hmm. Yes.
at times. I'm trying not to do any spoilers, so if sounds like I'm kind of hedging,
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
because
Yep.
I don't want to say if you want to go see the movie, I want you to enjoy it.
Yeah. But I
And
will. But we can say certain things that you can see. I to Daisy's question here. Do the older
yeah,
guys?
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're yeah. And you see the movie, it'll explain it all to you.
And they make sense, and they are part of the movie, and
Yes.
that's what I liked. I did like that about this. They
Yeah.
didn't just kind of stick them in there,
Even
you know.
Ray Stance is probably the most visible of them.
Hmm.
Uh, but still, they it was not even like Afterlife. You know how they were. There's like one scene earlier with Ray and Afterlife, but then they all come up. Then this is
They're,
you know,
they're,
yeah. If you want to see the
most
old
of them
guys,
are integrated into the movie.
so
From yes,
I think this movie's done a good job advertising and fairly.
yeah,
Because we there were some of the movies we talked about, even like Despicable Me 4 looks cool, but the problem is, are we seeing the best of the? I mean, do the trailer clips make the movie? Is that it? And that's always a risk. But I think that these have been pretty good so far. So, and regarding about Walter Peck, and yes, he was a major, most memorable character in the entire movie because he was a jerk.
yeah.
Yes, well, he is back. You have to see how he's used this time because he's just as much of a jerk as he was before.
Yes.
And Mrs., what was the line that you heard at the end of the movie when everybody's cheering?
Okay, if you guys go at the end of the movie when everybody's cheering, Dadman has missed it 2 movies, but
Yeah,
you hear them saying, they say what he is in the movie, and they go, da 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 da, dickless.
yeah,
So I'm going, oh my gosh, they got the dickless line in.
they did. They truly did. I'm like, and I missed it twice. So, uh, yeah, yeah, like the Smurfy thing seemed like chipmunks. Oh my gosh! All right, let's see. Well, they did have the cartoon, yeah. That you had a Ghostbusters, but you had different. But with this franchise, it was the real Ghostbusters. So, oh,
Yeah,
and Mrs.
I saw.
Congratulations!
I
Thank you,
thank
Daisy Blossom. Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, there's the Ko-fi donation spot right there for you to do. So hey, and sport. I guess it's only. Do you get you? Here's what happened. It came over to the YouTube side also. Cool, excellent. So, uh,
Thank
yeah, he kind of he. But you know what? These guys are getting old too, so you know how that goes. But it's
Ernie Hudson looks great,
yeah,
and
he did.
Annie Potts. Oh my
Annie
gosh.
Potts. Let me see if I can find Annie
Yeah,
Potts. But here's
Annie
Ernie
Potts looks
Hudson's.
really good.
Yeah, Daisy said the real Ghostbusters cartoon fun. And see, there's other scenes about Venkman and others that would go back even to the original Ghostbusters.
Hmm.
You remember at the end of Afterlife, they had Sigourney Weaver doing the little shock thing on Venkman,
Hmm.
and well, we see that popped up in here in another. We
Yes.
see we see that again in this one. So, but hey, yes, like you said, there's Ernie Hudson looking as good. Let me see. I
But
will get.
I was thinking about the one where I can't remember who said it. If I saw their name, I would. But they were saying about how there was like a lot of subplots,
Yeah.
and there were
And here's
because
Annie Pot. By the way, here's Annie
yeah,
Potts over here on the
doesn't
left.
she look so good?
Yeah, and there's here with all of them. There's Bill Murray, there's Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson there. So,
Mhm.
and like I said, you know it. I'm sorry. Yeah, about the subplots.
Yeah, there were because they had, the ghost story, and then they had the family angst story, and then they had the aging Ghostbuster story, and then they had the um, the the girl ghost story, her story, and they did have a lot of stories going on. in this. I
And w- yeah, it things to jump around, and they were good. They added to a good movie, but like you said, it kind of took the time away from at the center being on Ghostbusters. Compare back to there's one thing that just popped in my mind comparing back to Afterlife. We see now uh, Ray Stantz has that mystery that occult antique shop in New York. We see the scene in Afterlife. Well, it plays a bigger role in this movie here. So exactly. Uh, so like oh my cometh, yeah, I do too. I did miss him in some of this movie, but then again, I don't know how you could have added him without taking away time from the movie because it would have been like we're talking about
But
subplots and stuff.
I think that the Gary, I don't know who the Paul Rudd. I
Hmm.
think he did really. I and this is what they. Okay, they become the dogs, right?
Hmm.
The lady comes out and they're like look really good, right? Why does
Hmm.
the guy always look like, you know, he hasn't bathed forever, his hair's all messed up. He just looks like such a schmuck. I just think that is so funny. I mean, it was in the original one too. You had gorgeous Sigourney Weaver, right? And all
Hmm.
this, and she comes out of the thing wonderful. And then you have Rick Moranis who, you know, looks absolutely horrible. And then they did the same thing in Afterlife. Whoever played, I don't know who played Carrie. I'm not good with names, but she looked gorgeous. I mean, they even had her morph into this wonderful gold outfit, right? Which I thought
Oh
was
no, no,
weird.
no! She didn't morph. She just ripped it off as like a breakaway jersey. She just
Yeah, it
ripped it
was
off in a
it was
pain.
just so weird. And she's gorgeous, right? And then you have Paul Rudd who, looks awful. And I don't understand why they had to do that. It was just odd to me.
Yes, definitely.
That's just a little aside.
Yeah, exactly. Always got to get your Tobin spirit guides. So,
Hmm.
so yeah, I was trying to multitask here in a second, but yeah, anything else that you um, that we haven't hit? You think?
I don't know.
Let's see. We kind of just use the force with this, folks. We kind of just uh, see what comes up, and yeah, see. Oh, here's a great one here. We watched that today. I don't know how anybody could not have cried at
Yeah.
that scene. But you know what? And here's a debate that is raging this day and age. How do you portray a real life person that is dead, that is no longer with us? And when do you do it and what context? When is it morbid and when does it work? I think because we've had the debates before on like especially like in the Star Wars or some of the characters in Star Wars. But honestly, the one that was such a heartfelt one at the end of Afterlife. What did you think, Mrs.?
Well, I think number one, you either need to get permission from the estate before you do it. Number one, which I'm sure they did. But in this movie, he was a ghost. I mean, it wasn't like they were AIing him into be, a living person. And I think that's why it did not bother me in this because
Mm-hmm.
you know
In
in
Afterlife,
afterlife.
because we
Um,
do not see Egon in this
no,
movie.
he is not in the second one. Um, and so that didn't bother me. And I, and this is where it becomes a little tricky. If it was um, like at the beginning of Afterlife, they had somebody had to play him at
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of that movie. His face was pretty much darkened out, so I don't know if they just got an actor that and made him up to look a lot like him, or what they did. But you even had that, and that is still taking, you know, somebody's likeness and kind of doing it, whether it's AI or not. But I have a hard problem with it because I don't always think it's done well, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's that's it. And I think sometimes it's disrespectful to the actor. Um, And
Mm-hmm.
but I think with the Afterlife, it worked a lot because he was a ghost, and he was, like it was him coming back to, like, say his goodbyes. And in the second movie, I will say she went to the play chess, and she set up the chessboard,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
think she was wanting her grandfather, it to be her grandfather playing chess
Yes.
with her.
That was a good callback. That I
And
was
I
the
think
reason
that
why
was,
I like what you said about actually going back and watching Afterlife again, because I missed that the first time. I've missed all the
mhm.
chess thing the first time because I did not remember it from the other.
And the look on the disappointment on her face when she saw that it was not her grandfather.
No, I love our chats, Mrs. We got some great people here, and of course, a great history people, great in thinkers
Mhm.
and stuff. But Snortopoopas asked the main did Pecker or Peck ever go dead?
No, no. Apparently, till the end of the movie, he was dickless.
And still recognized some because somebody shouted out.
Yeah, somebody
So,
shouted out in the crowd, "Dickless." So,
yeah. And Lady V says Bill always looks a bit rough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Although I will say on the bigger screen, I mean, even Dan Aykroyd's starting to show his age. I agree with you. Ernie Hudson really is the is, and Annie Potts too. Really, they look fabulous for their
they look
ages.
fabulous.
Yeah. So, fun fact is one of Paul Rudd's breakout roles, Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. Okay.
Mm,
Yeah. Uh,
very
well,
cool.
dude, he was faking being a zombie in Zombieland. That's why was trying to fake as a dead guy in that. And the ending to Afterlife was the perfect tribute to Harold Ramis. And I
Yes.
tell you, it was the tribute, the finale, because if they did it again this time, it would have been too much. But that was such a
Yeah.
meaningful and it was just silent, somber, not gaudy. It was just
And oh my gosh, when Ernie looked over and saw him, and then Bill Murray looked over and saw him,
mm-hmm,
and then when Ray looked over and saw him,
mm-hmm,
and just the look on their faces, you
yeah,
know, it's bringing tears to my eyes now. I think that was one of the most poignant scenes without really any word, well, without any words being spoken at that moment. Was
mm-hmm,
just, um, it was a just a perfect scene in every aspect.
right. Right, with that, with for Afterlife with the ending. This movie this ending reminded me of the ending of the original Ghostbusters 1984.
Hmm.
You had a happy save New York and everybody coming around yelling and screaming, cheering, and then you got Ghost on the rampage. It's just like a continuation. Keep looking for so that
Hmm.
I like the ending. But
I did.
I think Afterlife had to end the way it did because of that tribute, and
Oh,
it
it
did have
had
that
to.
that they did have that final scene though with the Ecto one on the bridge in New York, which and that's fine. But this one was more like the happy pump up the band loud music type of ending here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
so
think
Atwood.
they left this ending left it to where I'm hoping I'm I've heard there's going to be a third Ghostbuster,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that this, a lot of times they say the sophomore movie can be a little down, and I think we had that freshman, the
This Nighthawk
Afterlife,
said that.
and then the sophomore kind of was a little bit. So I'm hoping this third one, since they've kind of tidied up everything here,
Mhm. Right.
and by the next movie they might be 18, they
Yeah.
might all be of legal age, um, and
Yeah.
that I'm very interested to see what the third Ghostbuster movie will be, and hope that, because they've kind of wrapped up the original cast. They're you know, I think that the baton has been officially handed over. It wasn't really handed over at the end of Afterlife, but I think
Hmm.
with them getting in the car and driving off, the Spengler family
Again. Again.
driving off,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, they were the four. It was just them.
They were, yeah, just them four. Um, I think that is kind of like the official handing the baton to
Mm,
them.
Sketty. Now I'm going to take
So,
this. No, this was not had nothing to do men versus women. This had nothing to do with like a lot of stuff
no,
that gets brought up and stuff like this and all the Twitter and social media conversation. It was not. I mean, and this one never even went in that direction or even close to it. Uh,
no.
so it was a good movie. Oh, I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke, Putin's cat, and that's okay because it would be. Well, I tell you what, it's a joke, but it could not be a joke when you compare this to 2016. But we're not going to do that on that stream to this stream today.
No,
Uh,
please.
because actually I look at 2016 somewhat positively, but again, that's another stream for another day,
Yep.
different issue. But yeah, it was it truly was a Jedi Bill. Hey Jedi Bill, good to see
Hey,
you.
Jedi Bill.
Oh, the bear,
Hello,
yeah, the bear
hello.
has to be fed. Yes, exactly. Oh, Lady V's dropping noodles and other meaty sauce for snorts. There you go. Make sure there's some
Sorry,
mushroom in
I'm
that sauce.
sorry, I'm missing a lot of the chat.
No, you're
Um,
good. That's
so
kind of what I'm doing while you're talking. Because you know what you do? Here's what, like your birthday party. You are helping better. You're better at conversating than I am. You're keeping things
conversation.
going on that angle and bring out points. I'm doing the technical stuff. So I think we're getting a good flow right here. So it's kind of working out pretty good with that. But yeah, I mean, because there's been some stuff with it, and I will tell you, we've seen some Twitter and we engaged a few things on Twitter because one thing I've said on this channel, and Mrs. I know you please don't roll your eyes because I know I say the same things a lot, but one of the things is watch, don't rely on anybody else to tell you what you should and shouldn't watch. I mean, now if you have personal experience, like for me, if anything Star Wars comes up, it's going to be hard for me to even try because I've seen firsthand what is done and what's happened.
Mhm.
But don't take anybody saying something is this or something is that, this all exists or this doesn't exist. You do need to see stuff for your um, you know things, because I tell you what, in social media, and I don't like using the term woke. You will see that I do not use it on my channel. I try to avoid it because it's become one of those cast words that gets thrown out randomly and without crazy. You just
I
throw it
think it's a
there.
word that's now used for people to get
Yeah,
clicks
clicks and
and,
money and
and
don't
money.
and stuff,
And and
because Stunning's
it's a
point right
money
here.
word, yeah.
I think we both agree with this, is that it seems a lot of the anti woke is that they see woke in every corner of entertainment.
They,
Well, like this movie
they
here. Go ahead, Mrs.
they go above and beyond to look for any sliver or tiny little shed of something that might be, and then that makes the entire movie this woke propaganda bullshit. And just
Mhm.
stop it, everybody. Just stop it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
if you don't like the movie, tell me why. Give me specifics. Don't
Or
say it's woke.
I will say, I think that there's a valid people like me. If Disney makes, I guess they're talking about making a Mandalorian movie, I'm not going to the theater to watch it because they've done enough to me that I've seen with my own eyes that they destroyed it to me. I'm not going to, but it's
Yeah,
based on
but
my
don't
personal
go onto
experience.
Twitter and say,
Yeah,
"Hey, can you
yeah.
guys? I heard that the Mandalorian was blah blah blah." Insert whatever trickle words here. Can you
Mhm.
let me know what you think? Bull,
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I mean, I was like, there's a retired talk show host that said, "Do not take anything I say to be factual unless you know it to be true on your own personal experience or you know it to be true." And that's the motto to operate with these things. I wonder how many movies I've missed. Uh, you know, if I by listening now one, or well, let's say the Marvels. Marvels is one that I went and watched. Shang-Chi is another. Now you can say what they did with the lore might have been disrespectful and ripped it up, but that's not. I'm not a lore guy in those areas, but I did not see those type of complaints of the woke and the other stuff like that in some of those movies where people said that they are. So that's why I always say go check something else for yourself, if unless you know to be true. Except for, like I said, way I'm a Star Wars or even Mrs. We'll have to be honest. There was no desire to see the fifth Indiana Jones, right?
yeah.
Yeah. and that one
Yeah.
transposed
Yeah.
whatever they did with the
Well,
character.
let's look at. So let's look. Yeah, I
Oh,
agree. Let's
look
just.
at this comment though.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you. I was like, let me look here. There was. I'm trying to see.
okay.
Um. So no, I would do want to ask Jenny. Is it I did think, or did not think there were too many characters? I don't know what that means.
Which
Did is that did not think that there were too many characters, or you did think there were too many characters? Um,
that might get to the plot points, the
yeah.
subplots,
Well,
like you were saying. But
I'm just curious. Um, I'm just curious. And Lady B doesn't watch anything in the theaters. There's just too many humans. I understand. Yes,
yeah. All
yes,
right.
and
So
yes, and Atwood, that is absolutely true. You don't like what people say, unsubscribe to them.
yeah.
That's the best thing to
Well,
do instead of
I will say
listening
with
to
this
yourself.
one though too, to Putin Cat, I in some cases yes, in some cases yes, I believe that that's true, but not all cases, and I don't think it's the purpose of all movies because not everything's an indoctrination or propaganda. Sometimes it's just go have fun, and honestly, this one had the spirit of fun, and
Yeah.
it really did. I actually think it had more fun than Afterlife to it, especially with the callbacks to the original '84 Ghostbusters. But yeah, I mean, but I will tell you, I'll be honest, I am always prepared to see if it's a movie of indoctrination. So I'm not saying don't, always have your guard up and look for things that you look for, but just make sure it exists. It's like the boy that cried wolf. If you keep crying that something's not there, that's there that people don't see there, then at what point do people not listen to you? So
And Snorterpoopa says woke is a bad word. I like sleeping too much to be woke. I
yes,
agree. I agree.
yeah,
We
uh,
just need to say a movie is too sleep.
yeah,
A movie
exactly.
is too. It's just too nap. Too nap.
Yeah.
Oh, and
See, and
here's
like here, studying said like with Disney, Warner Brothers about DC, Marvel, Star Wars, the story it's all in the story department how they are respecting the lore or not respecting the lore. So you know how that goes. Yeah, I that Putin's Cat. That's why I didn't. I chose not to watch that one. That one I knew enough about, but I will tell you, that's one that that was like Daisy Blossom, who was here earlier, and I did a review of all four of the Indiana Jones movies, and we could barely make it through Crystal Skull. It's like to me, Indiana Jones truly ended at Last Crusade, and was the best of all of them to me. So,
I'm
oh,
go.
okay.
Wait, I'm cutting
Did we
ahead.
answer this one for Jedi Bill though?
Um,
About the too many characters? Did we get that one far enough?
yeah. Let me first say we do have someone new, the
Oh,
Peter
hello, Peter
Vickman
Vigman.
fan
Hey,
site.
we have Venkman here.
And did somebody say Ghostbusters? Yes.
Yes,
Da 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 da. Da. I don't can't do the tone because I
I
don't want
know.
to
Yeah.
get in
So,
trouble.
and Jenna
Um,
got that
I
one about.
didn't think there were too many characters.
Now the subplots, though,
I thought there were a lot of subplots, but I don't think there were too many characters.
I agree with that assessment. I
Yeah.
think they balanced it really well. Well, the thing is, they did not bring all the old Ghostbusters in at one time,
Hmm.
and they didn't also do what 2016 did, with where you saw one in isolation for one
Yeah.
scene. So it's again, if you like Ghostbusters, go. I wouldn't let anything else.
Lady V, I'm sorry.
I'm still wait. Oh, what did she say now? That's
Underneath Peter Beckman.
okay. Uh, let's see. Yes, exactly. The woke aspect is in some decisions, but not the only issue. Sometimes just bad story writing.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, bad movies are just bad movies. Period.
Hmm.
So okay. I just want to make sure we hit Jedi Bill's point up there with
Yes.
that
Yes.
one. Of
Yes.
course, remember she's got the Ko-fi misses for debt. We already have one donation from Daisy tonight,
Thank
and
you. Thank
so
you.
all right. So all right.
And this is and I always whoops
Nope. Yeah, we were fighting over control.
um this one, the deconstruction of aspirational heroes. Yes, I do think that that is something that is happening in a lot of movies, and I was waiting to see how they treated. I was sure they were going to treat him bad because they didn't treat him bad in Afterlife, but
Hmm.
the original characters, what were they going to do with them?
Hmm.
How were they going to treat them? How were they going to treat some of the other things that were in the original movie? And I think that they
Mhm.
treated him with respect, and um, uh, and they did it well in this movie. And like,
And go ahead.
and then they're bringing people in to kind of
That's
replace
why I
the
picked
old
this picture here.
characters.
This is why I
Yes,
picked this picture here.
you have Lucky, you have Trevor, you have podcasts. There's Ray, and then you have, I can't remember his name, but he's, yes, he
Mhm.
is he a new character? Yeah, and Lucky,
Yeah.
and
He's almost like the scientific Egon now that they have in the movie
yeah, yeah,
in that way. And I will also I want to say here because Ray was not the codgering old guy secretary. I mean, Ray was working this. Ray was involved for quite a bit in the movie. So, like you were saying, they're interact. Unlike some other franchises, they are actually working the older characters in with the new within the movie.
to allow them to kind of hand off the mantle to the next generation of Ghostbusters. Does that make
Oh, I see.
sense?
I see. Yes, I do. I saw what Lady V's comment that you were laughing about
Yes.
earlier. But yeah, it really truly was like in this scene. He's explaining the orb, but Ray got it. Got possession of it. They've gone on to try to research and stuff with this, but Ray is doing the research. Then you'll see what Winston's role is in all this. And
Yeah.
then Janine, they all have roles and they come in and out of different times and then they all come together. It really is a good blending. It's the blending we should have gotten in something like Star Wars,
Yeah. It's
specifically.
yes, it is allowing the new group. If it continues, I think it could be really good if it does continue. I think that this could be a good extension of Ghostbusters if they do it right. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm hoping that, like I say, I want to see the next one because that next one will probably be more the family Spanglers. I can't say the name right, Spanglers.
Yeah.
Than um, the old
Hmm.
guard.
Right.
And I think that's the way it should be because they are getting older.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use the word
They
phase
addressed
them.
that. They
I
actually addressed that in the
Yes, they
dialogue.
addressed it in this, and I hate saying the word phase them out, but I'm going to use that word. But and kind of phase them out of the franchise and start the new group. But they're doing it in a way with respect and honor and dignity to the old characters, and
Hmm.
that's what I love about it.
Hmm.
They're not making them all assholes, and and this group saying, well, screw you, we don't want to do anything with you with ghost busting. You're all just a bunch of stupid old people. They're not
Hmm.
doing that, and they're showing them a respect, and they're honoring the character's knowledge and wisdom. As and the like I say, the transition. I hope it works because I think this could be a great continuation of this franchise.
Hmm. I agree. I just it's like Peter Venkman fansite says here, which is what the fans wanted. Yes, and it's
Mhm.
not just fan service. Yeah, they got a
No,
lot of memories, member berries, and I so much back to the original in '84 this time.
I know
But
Spanglers, Lady
they
B. I said
truly
it wrong. Spanglers,
spankers.
Spankers.
We got
No,
to laugh out of
Spanglers.
her with that. But to the point where what the fans want. Sometimes
Mhm.
what the fans want doesn't make for a good film. And but the whole thing though is the general gist of things like that.
Mhm.
We got love, we got appreciation for the original and the original characters. See, because this movie really involved the older characters and integrated them. Now, last movie may have been too early. This one's right, so we'll see what happens coming up.
Yeah.
But I will say again about this character here, the guy in the middle here. You know, so we have three of the four original Ghostbusters. We don't have Egon, and he was the truly sciency tech guy. You know, well, Ray couldn't do it, even though he's more into the paranormal side of it.
Mhm.
Uh, Venkman is the game show host, like Dana said in the original movie, and of course Ernie Hudson's
The
Zeddemore is
businessman.
just kind of the businessman. You got to have the science geek, and this is a way to bring one of those in here. It's not
That that
Egon. Yeah.
that's older. That is older than the
Hmm.
the
The kids.
kids because the kids are still 18, 19,
Hmm.
maybe 20. We'll say even if they're like 23 in the next movie, that's still young. And they're putting in place some older characters to
Hmm.
kind of balance that and make it. I'm saying Ghostbusters. I'm saying a little more believable, but a little more believable.
Yep.
You know, it'd be hard for me to believe that a bunch of 21-year-olds are doing all this. And then they have the mom and Gary. They have Carrie and Gary, which are some other adults that are going to be in there. So I just think it's. I just think I'm really hoping that Ghostbuster the third one um, is good. I hope that they are continue in the right path. I really do because I see so much potential in this.
Hmm. Exactly. Well, is there anything else you can think that we should talk about in this movie? Because we've not tried to spoil too much. Uh, yeah, like you said, it's up to whether somebody wants to watch it in the theater or not. I think to me, I personally would watch it in the theater, but you would, but I can see, but your point earlier was that you,
I
you could
think
wait
that
for it
you
at
will
home.
miss some stuff if you don't watch it on a big screen. But a lot of people have wonderful theater systems at home, so it might not be that problem. Um, I do think it does warrant to be on a bigger screen.
Yeah, I just thought of something else to talk about real soon. Yes, and
Yes, baby.
I think no matter their evolution, movies can still be fun, even if for different generation. But what's even better is intergenerational, like Hungry and I were talking about last night when we have Aang come in, get Aang's opinion on stuff, and yeah, and my kids actually love the 1984 Ghostbusters, and will like today love this one that's made 40 years later.
And this franchise could potentially be that if people would get their heads out of their butt and and think for them. I'm sorry, get their heads out of their butt and not sit here and look for woke propaganda and everything, because and just watch the movie for what the movie is.
Yeah,
um and I
yeah,
think that could happen. These I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed watching it with my kid. There's a 39-year age difference between me and my youngest. And we both enjoyed this movie.
hmm,
Like I say, I was disappointed because I wish there was more ghost busting in it, but I
yeah.
enjoyed the movie. For a movie, I thought it was good.
Well, one thing I do want to say, folks, and I want to get people's opinions and definitely yours at this. Afterlife showed us a darker version, at least to me, darker version of Ghostbusters. Because what I think is a stupid, hokey Liberty, Statue of Liberty walking in Ghostbusters 2, or the way it was so comic book, bubble gummy at the end of '84. But this one,
Yes, Peter
yeah.
Venkman.
So,
I
yeah,
agree. Sorry.
see, I could still enjoy that movie on some level, but yes, we don't count that as a Ghostbuster movie. That is not a Ghostbuster movie.
Mm,
That requires its own conversation.
yeah.
But but the part in Afterlife, we had a death in it of a human. We had all this seriousness, and like it was dramatic. It was like very intense. It wasn't just
Hmm.
cartoony and whatever. This movie had a lot of serious stuff in it. So I think some of our friends out there are going to really like a scene in it because they actually have kind of a chamber scene where,
Oh.
and it goes to it. Yeah, and yeah, those are handcuffs there. And yes, they did make jokes about dungeons and handcuffs, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. And see, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, and it's still yeah. I think most consider it a parody, and yeah, it still appealed to a specific audience. So,
Hmm.
um, and so Six is saying, I didn't look for woke propaganda. I saw what I saw. I don't understand the judgment of those who see chemistry between Phoebe and Melody, since I'm not judging anyone who doesn't see it. Yeah, yeah, they had chemistry. They had chemistry as friends, and that's they're just two teenagers that were misunderstood, had their problems, and they
Both of
had.
them were lonely. Both of
Mhm.
them were lonely. One was a 16-year-old ghost with her family, not with her family, and the other was a 15-year-old not ghost, a human who is having identity issues, not only on, you know, just being
Security
15
issues.
years
Yeah.
old, but identity on who she is because of stuff that has happened. She saved the world and now she's sidelined,
Hmm.
and so all this stuff is a lot for, and on just all the stuff she went through, her grandfather dying, her seeing her grandfather,
Hmm.
her, all this stuff. Yeah, there was a chemistry. They clicked in that aspect because they had something in common. They both were lonely and they both kind of missed their family.
Because one could not get to the other side to
What
join their
what
family.
yeah, one could not get to the other side to join their family, and the other one felt alienated from their family, felt like they didn't belong, felt, like the fifth wheel. And so
Hmm.
it was really, yeah, they there was chemistry. They had, because they had a lot in common.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I did. I thought we'd get a kick out, a little bit of a laugh here at the end because of this scene, though.
Yes.
It really, this scene was. They and then back to the dark. Well, yeah, they had plenty of innuendo and stuff. Oh God, my God, the first time I saw 80 original Ghostbusters with my kids and realized I forgot about the firehouse scene with the zipper. It was like, holy crap. Well, they did a lot of running jokes in here, a lot of innuendo, but it worked. It was okay, and it really
Hmm.
worked. Yeah, so
Hmm.
yeah, so they specifically these handcuffs. They, hey, it's so bad that the guy's like, "Hey, please, that's my grandma. That's my."
That's my grandma's room. Please stop talking.
Well, okay, I think that's the last thing that popped up in my head that I did want to make sure we talked about. But is there any other thoughts, any other questions, or any other comments? Six, I appreciate this state. I appreciate your feedback here. Everybody that actually had seen the movie, what you thought and liked it. Uh, but again, my channel motto here is, go, be the judge for anything yourself. Yeah. Oh
Hmm.
gosh, imagine being an adult and you got
Two
teen,
minors,
two
two
minor
teenagers.
girls, and it's
Yeah.
like at the time you watch it, it was like, oh, uh, yeah, exactly. That's what happened. I forgot all about that scene. We were at actually, Aang talked about this the other night. We were at a movie theater that had the sit around tables and you eat and stuff dinner there, and I'm like, holy crap, uh, I forgot, I forgot about that. And yes, I do agree that they say, yeah, that was a traumatic scene with the zipper scene when kids are. But I will say, this
I
case,
think a lot of it
they
went
did
over
it. They
kids'
went.
heads.
Yeah, it would have been the ones that went over the kids' heads.
No, no, the bad scene was when we went to watch the new Baywatch movie. Remember
Oh
when we saw that
gosh.
with the kids?
Well, let me say
And
this
it was
before we get. Let's
okay.
before everybody. If you have anything else for Ghostbusters, let's say it is. Then we'll go into that because that might be squirreling a little bit. But six, thank you for the compliment. Great stream about a wonderful movie. Absolutely. And thank you
Hmm.
for your support. Six, thank you for everybody that's here. We got 20
Yes.
people still with us here right now. But okay, yes, tell us about that one, the Baywatch parody movie.
Okay, so we went to see the Baywatch. It wasn't a parody movie. It was the redo of the
Well,
Baywatch. But so we
oh,
went to take our kids.
this is a good point though. It was not made for kids, and this is a big debate too. We have in a lot of things, especially animated movies. Not everything because it's animated is for kids, and that's a good point, Peter Venkman. We forget about that. That was I can't remember the ratings back then, and you know it is still an adult movie that happened to bring the kids in for it. But it's kind of cool that we can move on to snort poop a squirrel. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. So we went to see the Baywatch movie.
Hmm.
And we were at one of those places where you could, eat while you're watching the movie. And I don't know if any of you guys ever seen the movie. Well, there are two scenes in the movie. There's the one in the morgue, which was like, oh my gosh. But the one that scarred my children for life, and they told me so, was when the guy was laying on the um, lounge thing. Remember Dadman? And
Oh yeah.
he got really happy. We'll just
Yeah.
say,
Oh
and then
yeah.
they picked up the lounge chair, and let's just say you could see how happy he was. And
Yeah.
my oldest looked at me and went, "Mom, I'm scarred for life."
Oh, the morgue one
so
was the worst one
so
to me
so
though.
so I will say, I will say that the zipper unzipping in the fire station was mild, was mild compared to the Baywatch scenes
Yep.
in that movie.
Yep. But I do agree with that point, though. I do that some of these they can be naughty. We all like naughty and stuff, but some of them it's when they bring the kids in, then go over the top the other way. It needs to. Exactly. We don't need to see the all the escapades in all the films. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Because some that's the thing is talk innuendo or whatever all the time. It gets old at some point. Keep it where it's fresh and all that. Kind
Yeah.
of like on our Fortnite streams. Uh,
Well,
all right.
it was like in the like this one. Okay, when Carrie and Gary were talking about when they were dogs,
Hmm.
before they became dogs,
Yeah.
and they hooked up. That
Yeah.
basically that's all they said,
They did a fist
and
bump too. That was
they
so
did a
funny.
fist bump, and Phoebe goes, uh, I don't know if she said, just don't or something like that, and walked away. It was so perfect teenage. It's like, stop,
Yeah.
stop.
And
Like
good
if a
night,
kid's
Mr.
teeth
Angel.
kissing, just stop. Good night,
Good
Mr.
night, Mr.
Angel.
Angel. So, all
So, okay,
right.
yeah, I think we're.
So, anything else? Anybody? Any other comments of the movie or even Afterlife out in the chat before we go to start to wrap up? Mrs. Any other final thoughts?
I don't think so. I do not
All
think
right.
so.
Well, we have gone almost an hour and a half on this, and
Yes,
we've
we
gotten all
have.
you great people out here today,
Thank
tonight.
you so much.
So, what show are you talking about, Atwood? I didn't even see it in there. Yeah, and then like you said, yeah, we do too. Love the gore and the naughty, but like Venkman said, peripheral. Yep. All right. So, because, and then sometimes parents let their kids watch stuff they shouldn't watch, like one that we ran into with a lady at church actually, like, my kid's gotten some animated show and there's a dog
No,
that talks and
no,
the kid.
no, no. He goes, my kid is, watching it started, it said this stuff about, I can't remember what the phrase was. And we're like, and we know exactly what they were talking about. And she goes, yeah, it's some cartoon. It has a talking dog in it. It was Family Guy, everybody. She was letting her, what, at
She
times,
went to bed and the
6 year
kid got
old?
on the TV. Yeah.
No,
No,
she let
about
him watch
four,
it.
about four.
She let him watch it, thinking it's okay because it's a
Because she
cartoon.
went to bed. She just was,
I'm going,
yeah.
that's why it's called Adult Swim.
Then what did we happen when we told her that you might want to check it out? The very next time she saw us, it was like,
She went, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been letting my kid watch that.
Stewie.
Yes,
Stewie,
Stewie.
yes. All right. All right. Well, Mrs., why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your channel? Actually, go ahead and put your link in. I'm going to go ahead and kind of, while you get the link to post in there, I'm going to talk since I can't talk and type at the same time. Uh, yeah, South Park. Yeah, and now you play a South Park video game all the time. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And see, that's one of those things about you do keep it age appropriate. Yeah, because The Simpsons still was kind of the, yes, Family Guy. Yeah, Family Guy is worse. So, for me this week, we will be streaming to Wednesday, and then it'll be live. It'll be random on the road streams. Uh, t- Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We got some sports talk with JT Whoopa and Sci-Fi Mombi. We're going to update March Madness. Wednesday night, I got a big special of I don't know what we're going to do with the great Lisa. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but on Wednesday, in lieu of a movie review, we're going to do have an evening with Lisa. Sometime there for a show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Let me double check. Yes, 9 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern. I'm going to have Brandon, the anime guy, on as my guest. So I hope to see y'all there for that too. So, so keep, hit the like, subscribe, get the word out even about my channel. Let's get it. I want to get
You want you,
750. This is
you
my
want me
next milestone.
750? Woo!
Yeah,
Go for it.
exactly. Only like 144 more. Well, 45. It
Oh,
depends on what the number is at the moment.
depends on what they. Yeah.
Yes, and so folks, here's the Mrs. Link. Mrs., go ahead
Okay.
and talk about yourself now.
Okay. I am Mrs. Dadman walking. I have my own channel, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do this because I got my slides prepared. So let's take this off. And I do block parties. I'm having a block party this Monday, tomorrow at 1 p.m. with my guest Agent Atwood. He had gifted me this Destiny 2 Ghost Shell build. And so we'll be doing that at 1 p.m. Get those off so they can see where it's at. It's at
Sorry.
youtube.com at Mrs.Dadmanwalking55 and twitch.tv Mrs. Dadman Walking. So you can go to either one of those and watch it. I also do impromptu streams, blocking out the boredom. Follow me on Twix at mdadmanwalking for the times of those streams when I do them. I also have my 10 a.m. morning musings with Mrs. Dadman Walking. It's daily at 10 a.m. We have puzzle editions on Wednesday and the weekend. Um, uh, Later this week, we'll be going on vacation, so they're going to be a little bit different times there, but I'm still going to try to stream at some point during the day. So, yes, morning musings with Mrs. Dadman
Mhm.
Walking daily at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Also, we have a P.O. box. If you want to send anything to Dadman Walking 55, Mrs. Dadman Walking 55, or Angelo, our youngest who streams on Twitch, you can go to our P.O. box. You can check it. My info pages on my YouTube and Twitch pages, and they will have the address there if you so desire to send us anything. And yes, he was talking about I do have a Kofi and I have a throne. Mrs. Deadman Walking 55 is where you can reach both of those. Kofi is for donations and Thrones for gifts. It's a wish list that I have. Check it out. It's fun, and I think I think you'll just kind of get a little peek into my
Mhm.
brain when you go there. Also, I thank everybody who got me gifts. This is my regular stream I use.
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
YouTube, Mrs. Dadman Walking 55, Twitch, Mrs. Dadman Walking, streaming schedule, Twix at MDadman Walking. That is
Mhm.
all.
All
Okay.
right. Well, let me just go real quick because this says this. Hold on a second. It says Mrs. But this is my channel link. Oh, you know what I did? It's not my channel. Y'all know how to find me. So, but
Up
hey,
here.
yeah, I will have tweets out. Get your notifications on YouTube and Twitch, and that will be that. So we would love that. We would love that, Lady V. We would love that. Yeah. I love even getting up to Savannah as much as we can. Fort Pulaski and Fort McAllister are great places. We love all of Georgia. Athens. We visited through Georgia a while back. So, let me
There's
say
his
this.
link.
All right, there you go. Thank you for telling them to show me some love, and thank you again to Daisy for the donation
Yes.
to the
Thank
missus
you so
tonight.
much,
Always
Daisy. Thank
appreciate it.
you.
So let me, in the spirit of everything else, we're going to send y'all to another channel that's going on right now. A great friend, a great and true friend, and great streamer, great person herself, Lorena Creole is live now doing the Welcome to Florida uh, uh, stream. Uh, so go over there to Lorena, and Culture Casino is there also. But go over there, check out the channel, check out the show, subscribe over there. Um,
Hmm.
and we will maybe see you there in a few minutes. Mrs. Any other thoughts while I put the link
Yes.
in?
Can I say my goodbyes? Do my goodbye slide because I really
Yeah,
do like my
okay.
slide.
Yes, we saw Atwood too in person, and we've
Yes.
had severomeetups with people. Clobby,
Yes.
Eagle Rider, we've met people in real life, and it's been wonderful. Lorena, we've met a few times. We even went, yeah, we've met her a few times. But hey, there's the link to Lorena's show. Go, hey, say hi, tell her hi from us there. Okay, Mrs. Let me take everything down, and you say good night.
Okay. And everybody, I want you to do this. This is the link I want you to put down when you go over there. I just want you to do hashtag Dadman Family Raid. So you can just do that one there. And I would like to say, as always, I like to end whatever shows that I'm hosting. Remember to be kind and to show love. And remember that you're not promised tomorrow, so go to bed each night with no regrets. And most of all, I wish you all peace. You guys have a wonderful time and see you over at Loretta's show. Bye bye.
Bye.